I didn't even really know that there was a red light district. I thought like, wow, I've never lived somewhere so like bustling before. Like it was just a Wednesday evening and there were people everywhere lining the streets. It's a must do. It's like an initiation into Hamburg that you have to go. And that was just insane. Like I've seen a lot of arrests. I've seen a lot of people obviously like battling some demons, but walking on a Friday and Saturday night home is a very like head down, like don't look at anyone experience, because the Reeperbahn S-Bahn is a foul place to be in the morning. It's just disgusting.
Hello and welcome to my channel Reeperbahn TV, where we look at the then and now of Hamburg's red light and entertainment district. In this video we look at the human element of Hamburg-St. Pauli by interviewing a young 21-year-old woman about her experiences of living there. I hope you find it interesting.
So hello Alexa, welcome to Reeperbahn TV. Thanks for agreeing to talk to us.
That's all right.
Let me take you back to the start. You find out you're coming to Hamburg for several months to live and to work. Could you maybe tell me what you knew about Hamburg at that point before you started maybe looking for information on the internet?
So I really didn't know anything other than that it was a Hanseatic city in the past, and that it was meant to be one of the more liberal areas of Germany. That is what mainly made me want to choose it. I just had the impression that it had a very nice, like, open-minded atmosphere, and I knew that it was one of the bigger cities as well. So that is initially why I chose Hamburg. But other than that, my knowledge was very limited.
What did you start then to do? Did you start searching for information?
I did, I had a look, but honestly, like, everything that I've learned has really been through being here. I think the internet doesn't really give you the right kind of impression. Like, it shows the touristy things, but I mean mainly the focus is either like the scandalous side of the Reeperbahn or the Elbphilharmonie, and that's not really like what Hamburg feels like when you're actually here. There's a lot more to it.
When did you first become aware about the district of St. Pauli and the Reeperbahn?
I was on WG gesucht, like looking at everywhere. So I got given my work placement location first, and I was trying to figure out like transport links and like where would be a good area to live. And St. Pauli kept coming up on WG gesucht. And so I thought like, oh, okay, St. Pauli, I'll probably end up there. And it was only after I had my interview with my WG people that I like really looked into it. And saw like, oh my goodness, I remember I looked on Google Earth and it's like a few hundred meters away from the red light district. I didn't even really know that there was a red light district. I just knew that there was like a more like seedy area, but I didn't really know anything about it. But then I just thought, okay, well, an experience is an experience. And it seemed like I did have a look about like safety and stuff. But it's very much a touristy area, so.
If I understand you correctly, even before you came to Hamburg, you were aware then of St. Pauli, the Reeperbahn?
Aware of it purely through looking for flats.
Search results.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And then you ended up living in St. Pauli. Can you tell me how that came about?
Yeah, so it was literally just the first flat that I got an offer on, or an offer to live with the people in it. I heard so many things about how it's impossible to get a flat in Hamburg, so I really just took the first thing that I could. And I remember like asking people, like, do you think it's like a good location? Like, the consensus was very much like, oh yes, like everyone wants to live in St. Pauli.
I guess if you're young and you don't have a family, then you probably do want to live in St. Pauli. You moved then to St. Pauli. When would that have been?
The 6th of September, I believe.
So September 2022.
Yeah.
And did you then start going out in St. Pauli, or did you discover other places?
I mean, I moved in on a weekday. My first evening, the lady I lived with took me out to Grüne Jäger, like
To where?
Grüne Jäger.
Ah, yes.
I remember that was like so overwhelming because I'd had about 3 hours sleep. I'd been traveling all day, trying to settle into my new room. You know, when you move to a new place and you don't really know what's going on, like you haven't quite mapped out where everything is yet. But I remember like we walked over and I thought like, wow, I've never lived somewhere so like bustling before. Like it was just a Wednesday evening and there were people everywhere lining the streets. It was cool. I was excited.
What places sort of then, what impressed you?
I think just the atmosphere, like just everyone being outside and like a very chill atmosphere. But I mean, winter was quiet, but now that it's become spring and summertime, it's just nice that whenever you leave your flat, no matter what time really, there's always going to be people out and about, just, I don't know, meeting up with friends, out with their dogs. And I live in Sheffield in England, so that is a city, but it's a lot more quiet. It's not got a very bustling feeling.
Not so many people going out.
Not so many events going on.
Yeah, there's always events going on. Have you seen some of the events? Have you been to other places on the Reeperbahn since, or St. Pauli in St. Pauli?
I mean, again, like that first weekend of moving there, I met some people and we went to Große Freiheit. I don't really go out on the Reeperbahn very much. I usually go to other areas, but it's a must do. It's like an initiation into Hamburg that you have to go. And it's a cool atmosphere. And then like a weekend later, there was a Reeperbahn festival in September. And that was just insane. Like the first few weeks, I had to learn very quickly like the shortcuts to take because you just can't walk through the Reeperbahn in the evening if you're trying to get somewhere. It's like sardines packed in.
Yeah, the police are even talking about closing off certain areas to pedestrians to stop them standing around blocking people's way.
I think that's probably a good idea.
You said you went, or you've been going out to other places in St. Pauli or in Hamburg?
Both, like usually if I'm going to a bar or something, it will be either in St. Pauli or Schanze or Altona. And in terms of clubs, very much depends. I guess they're just dotted about everywhere.
You haven't got a favourite place on the Reeperbahn or in St. Pauli?
My favourite place on the Reeperbahn actually is not very popular. Do you know Molotov?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favourite. Me and my friends go to the 80s night. I like that, it's very fun. It's a different crowd, it's a little bit older.
80s?
Yeah.
That would be something for me.
80s nights and like the early 2000s nights, they're just so fun. I kind of avoid like Große Freiheit and stuff because it's all the like, oh, girls free entry, like.
And is it more expensive on the Große Freiheit, I presume?
Not from my experience because they usually let you in for free.
Okay, I meant the drinks.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, do you not know?
I don't really. The thing is though as well, like everything seems cheaper to me compared to England. So yeah, no, it definitely is more expensive for like long drinks, yeah.
Would you recommend St. Pauli again to someone coming?
Definitely, yeah. I think I thought a couple of times about trying to see a different area of Hamburg to live in during my time here, but I just couldn't find anywhere that would be the same kind of environment. Yeah, I really loved living there. I also like how you see like the same characters again and again. Like there's this dog that's huge, the biggest dog I've ever seen. It's about this big and it's always outside a certain kiosk. And there's always just like the same people on the same areas of the neighborhood just like doing their thing.
Yeah, it is said that St. Pauli has a kind of village feeling in because it's geographically limited by the Millantorplatz and the bottom of the Reeperbahn. It's like this square, and yeah, it does have a kind of village feeling.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, even with the homeless problem, I've never seen so many homeless people in one place before, which is really sad to see. But it also, I'm kind of glad they're in St. Pauli because it feels safer. And sometimes in other areas of the city, I'll see certain homeless people and I'll think like, oh, you're the one that lives on that corner. I know you.
Yeah, it's the kind of the chicken and the egg question. Is there more homeless people in St. Pauli because there is more help for them there, or is there just more homeless people in St. Pauli?
I don't know, but I mean, there is sometimes like a pop-up medical center that I've seen quite often, and there's also like a soup kitchen every Sunday morning.
And there's also the Salvation Army,
Yeah, exactly.
which is also there on the Talstrasse.
I think also it's a great like opportunity for them to get money on the weekends because everyone's out, and everyone's friendly when they're on a night out, I guess. But it does just feel safer. I think one of my concerns was like, would it be safe to walk home at night and everything? But I've never really felt unsafe.
Yeah, I guess it depends in what state you go home in and at what time.
Yeah, that's true.
You've been very positive so far about the Reeperbahn and St. Pauli and the neighbouring areas. Have you had any bad experiences? Do you think there are any negative sides to living in St. Pauli?
There are definitely some negatives. Sometimes there's not so much of a positive atmosphere. I mean, I've seen a lot of arrests. I've seen a lot of people obviously like battling some demons in their minds. Sometimes you do have to be very like, oh, okay, like you do have to be aware of your surroundings and who you're walking like in between and things like that. And the Reeperbahn S-Bahn is a foul place to be in the morning. It's just disgusting. Like every time I was going to work in the morning at like 7 a.m., I don't think I went a single day without seeing like some kind of like poo on the floor that hadn't been cleaned up yet, or just like vomit all over the seats. And like it's a dirty place. But I guess that's part of
That's part of the attraction. Did you have any problems with the noise, or were you living just far enough away to sort of deal with it?
Yeah, I think just far enough away, but it does get pretty noisy. One of my friends lives right on the street, like ground floor flat, and there's always so much going on outside her window, especially hot as foul fans. They get quite rowdy. And the other thing, I guess, like I know I've said that I felt very safe, and that's true, but walking on a Friday and Saturday night home is a very like head down, like don't look at anyone experience, because men are very like on the lookout, I guess.
Why do you feel the vibe on a Friday and Saturday is different to other times?
I guess like because it's the main going out days, not limited to, but mainly that's when everyone is out and about. If you're walking home in the early hours of the morning, I think not only is it that people are very drunk, but I think people are expecting you to be very drunk, right, which makes you an easier target. Whereas on the weeknights, I still have had like people try and talk to me and stuff, but they're not so persistent.
And have you met San Paulianas, as we call them, native San Paulianas, just to talk to? I mean, not in a bar situation.
Not, I don't know any in like a friend capacity, but I mean, one of my friend's landlords is definitely a St. Pauliana. His whole flat is decorated with St. Pauli. Yeah, nice people, proud of the neighborhood.
And the football team? Did you go to any matches?
I didn't. That was like the first thing that I wanted to do, and I never got round to it. But I would say I support the team. Yeah, you can't not, I guess.
Okay, thanks for for talking to us about your experiences in Hamburg and St. Pauli and the Reeperbahn. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be back in a few months or a few years, going down the Große Freiheit again.